Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Jay Stevens Podcast. This is episode number 147, dedicated to a man who on October 29th, 2018, broke Steph Curry's record when he hit 14 three-pointers in one NBA game. Mr. Klay Thompson. And as always, thank you for listening and downloading to the episode of the podcast. On today's episode, we'll talk a little bit about the Wisconsin-Nebraska game that just got canceled. Why in the world are so many people tearing their ACL in the NFL? And of course, with it being Thursday, no guest, but we got to get our picks off. But first, I'm laughing because y'all bought into it. Y'all bought into the hype. I've warned my buddy Garrett Grandy, who's been on this podcast before. I warned so many people, don't buy into Cam Newton. Cameron Newton, his good days are past him. Oh, y'all believe the hype. And I'm just here to have my Stephen A. moment, just like when the Cowboys lose. This is me here on the podcast just saying, y'all are foolish. Y'all should have listened to Jay. Cameron Newton used to be an okay quarterback. Excuse me, used to be a good quarterback. I won't go okay. Cameron Newton used to be a good quarterback. Cameron Newton also has suffered a lot of injuries. Cameron Newton was used to play in a system now is similar to the old system where he gets hit a lot. He gets banged up a lot. That's not favorable for a quarterback. That's not something you want to see for a quarterback. Not one, not at all. I mean, imagine Peyton Manning get beat up over and over and over again. Imagine Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, over and over and over. Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, over and over and over and over and over. Phillip Rivers. I mean, well, not that category, but you know what I'm saying. You don't want your quarterback to get hit. Phillip Rivers' good days are past him. Elite days are past him. He's showing he's playing better now than probably expected, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. You don't want your quarterback to get hit at all. Not once, if you can help it. However, there's a guy out there by the name of Cameron Newton. And y'all believe the hype. Y'all know Cam just came off of injuries. You know that he really hasn't played consecutive games, more than two, since 2018. He played, a game and a half, maybe 2 games last season. Didn't look good at all. And y'all still thought that he was going to come into New England because of Bill Belichick, because of Josh McDaniels, and play well? I mean, really, very well, and elite, and be a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the league? Y'all believe that? Well, I don't know what it is that I'm doing that's different than everybody else. I'm not the best picker of games. I'm not the best when it comes to predicting play of people. You'll see why I say I'm not the best picker of games at the end of this episode. But this makes no sense. I mean, you guys should have learned already. Once a guy goes down with that kind of injury, shouldn't you want to have a wait and see approach? Wouldn't you want to be a guy that sits back and says, all right, y'all, I've seen this story before. It goes worse than what the people in the media, or a lot of people in the media, are proclaiming. I won't say people in the media, me being one of them. I am not a person that was on that train. Last year, I was not on the Cleveland Browns train. And this year, I was not on the Cameron Newton train. He can be good. Can. But you can't ask that man to throw the ball. When has Cam ever been an elite thrower? When has Cam been a guy that can win you games with his arm? I'm waiting. I'll sit back and wait. Did he do it at Auburn? Did he do it in JUCO? I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry, I forgot. It's high school. It's way back. And I know many of you have not seen high school film on Cam. I have not seen it in a long time. So I cannot say I'm an aficionado and say, oh, I know exactly what Cam did here. I know where Cam did. Show me. Was it early in his career? Was it 2015 when he won the MVP? Surely it wasn't last year. He only played 2 games, and he played really, really bad. 2018 didn't look good at either. Show me. I want someone to show me. My DMs are open on Twitter. Tweet at me all you want, at jsteven07. I never thought Cam Newton could do that. So you expected Cam to go from an injury, from at home, and go to New England with Bill Belichick, with Josh McDaniels, and play a whole lot better than he has over the past 3 to 4 years when he's not fully healthy with no preseason? What is this? Help me out, y'all. Help me out. Help me out. Please help me out. I like Cam. I want Cam to be good. I want Cam to play very well, actually. I will go ahead and say that. But 9 for 15, 98 yards, 3 INTs, that ain't going to do it. That's not going to do it for Cam. It's not going to do it for anybody, honestly. On the season, 88 for 131, 969 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 INTs. Most people would have already been benched by now if they're playing that bad. Most people, if you have played, I think they played 6 games. Yes, they played 6 games. You have more interceptions than you have played games. You don't even have 6 touchdowns to match 1 touchdown per game. Hello, somebody help me out and help me figure out what it is that Cam Newton has got going on. Oh, I got it. He's a leading rusher on the team. 50 carries, 244 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's it. It's his running ability that keeps him playing the quarterback position. Guys, as a quarterback, you need an elite arm. You need a really good arm to keep your job. Cameron Newton does not have that. He hasn't had an elite arm. He was good at one point, but the hits he took over and over and over, that derailed him. And, well, here we are. Cam Newton about to get benched. He's acknowledged that he's about to get that. It's a possibility of him getting benched. Next time somebody comes back and comes off an injury and has a moment where everyone falls in love with them, pump the brakes. Let's stop a little bit. Let's think about it. Have they done this before? And if they haven't, should I believe they'll be different, that they'll be able to be back in their old ways based off of what they just gone through over the past couple years? I don't know. Browns didn't buy into it. Cam didn't buy into it. Guys, we're smarter than this. Cam can be good. Cam can be okay. But what we're seeing from Cam right now, this is the Cam that most people expect. Well, I expected to see, and a few other people, because it's hard to come back off those injuries that Cam Newton suffered. Let's go ahead and take a trip to the Wisconsin Badger locker room, to discuss what was going through their mind when they realized that their game this weekend would be canceled. Well, we got a cancellation. We knew at some point a game was going to get canceled. No matter if it was going to be the Big Ten following their protocol and canceling the game, or if it was going to be the athletic department of a particular school canceling the game, we knew at some point there was going to be a canceled game during this Big Ten football season. Do you like it? No. We want everybody to play. You always want everybody to play. Do the players like it? No. Do the coaches like it? No. Do the parents like it? No. Why? Because cancellations aren't fun. But it's the nature of the beast that we're living in and enduring and getting through right now. Some things are going to go on as planned. Some things are not. Going into the season, Jack Cohn went down. Oh, Graham Mertz, who is this guy? He plays very well during the first game of the year against Illinois. And you're thinking, oh, wow, Graham Mertz, this thing may actually work. And then it comes out that he tests positive for COVID-19. And my first thought literally was, I hope that young man, the next test is negative. Not just for him, but because I know what may happen next for this team. And well, here we are, October 29th. We're talking about the first canceled game in the Big Ten season. I never, ever, ever thought, my goodness, guys, not one bit. I never thought I would be here between game 1 and game 2 of the Big Ten season talking about a canceled game. How did we get here? Let's backtrack to Friday evening. Friday evening, game number 1, Wisconsin versus Illinois. Wisconsin goes out, plays very, very well. They're in, I believe, Badger Stadium. I believe that's the name of the stadium. If it's not, forgive me, Badger fans, Wisconsin faithful. Hashtag on Wisconsin. I'll move that on with you. Don't come at me on Twitter. Trust me, my memory, I got a lot going on. And sometimes even the simple things the little things as far as a name of a stadium somewhat escapes me. But big game. I think total 1,600 people allowed in the stadium. I believe that includes parents of players, people that were invited by the players, the coaches, their families. the support staff, the medical staff, the broadcasters, the media. I mean, I believe it was 1,600 total, set down by the Big Ten, not by the local area there in Wisconsin, simply by the Big Ten, 1,600 total. A big stadium, other schools have more. The Big Ten says, no, we have this set in place. This is how we're going to run this operation. Grant Mertz plays a near flawless game as far as the stats go. And what happens next? A positive test. Now, I liken this, and I know it's not the same thing. I liken this to it's just me being a jokester. I know, trust me, I try to joke around a lot. I know COVID-19, a lot of people tense up and curl up, and they say, oh, no. Trust me, guys. I am here to have fun. But when I first thought about this, it was very similar to how a player in the NFL, they have a big game, even the NBA, they have a big game. May it be NBA, they go off for a 40 burger and they average 10 points a game. Or if it's in the NFL, you throw 6 touchdown passes, or you have 2 picks, or Pat McAfee, former punter of the Colts, who used to be you'd be known for this, even out of Vinatieri last year with how bad his year was. If he had a good game, they get a slip in their locker. You have a drug test coming up. Be here at this time. We'll take care of this. Well, that's how it seemed to me. It almost seemed a false positive. I won't say similar situation to Nick Saban, because Nick Saban, his first positive came in the middle of the week, but it seemed very odd. I was like, hold on. So you mean to tell me that he had a good game Friday, and then I think it was Saturday. I think it wasn't until Sunday the positive was announced. Now that has to get leaked. The school, with how tight they are with information as far as the medicals of the players, they don't set things out because they're not professional. So I believe they got leaked out through one of the sources of a member of the media, and then I got reported. So that's where we are. Now, when was that positive? Did it come before the game and then just to get swept under the rug till Sunday? Did it come the next day and not get announced until Sunday, when I know it's daily testing? I believe the results come the same day. Or was it Sunday's test? I don't know. I have no idea. But it makes you pause and think, scratch your head. Okay, this is interesting. So Grant Mertz tests positive, and the second positive comes back, confirming the first positive. So he's positive, isolation for 14 days, out for 21 days, 14 days of isolation. Then the next 7 are preparation for your body to get callous, to get ready to play football once again. Who else tested positive? So the quarterback situation at Wisconsin is different than probably any other school in the country. Their starting quarterback, Jack Cohn, went down in the offseason with an offseason injury, out indefinitely right now. Not sure when he's going to come back. So Grant Mertz, redshirt freshman, comes in, steps in. First game against Illinois, plays very, very well, especially for your debut at the collegiate level. Hold on now. That ain't it. There's more. And this is how weird the story is. I hear 6 members of the coaching staff, they test positive. I'm like, what? This is kind of odd, isn't it? Well, there's more, because the true third-string quarterback, Chase Wolf, redshirt sophomore quarterback, tested positive as well. So not only are you down your starter, Jack Cohn, not only are you down your backup, Grant Mertz, but you're also down your third-string quarterback, Chase Wolf, and you're now starting your fourth-string redshirt junior quarterback the next time you play, which is probably next week. Now, earlier I said, would it be the Big Ten who canceled, or would it be Wisconsin who canceled? The Big Ten's protocol says if you're in a red situation, you shut down your facility for 7 days. That is the Big Ten's situation. Now, Wisconsin shut things down to take handling and to get a hold of the situation. Doesn't it seem kind of odd to you? I'm not saying it is. I'm wondering, do you think it's odd that you're in an orange-red zone of Big Ten protocols, but because the team had so many positive tests since Saturday, Barry Alvarez and Chancellor Rebecca Blank felt, quote, we have an issue. We need to get our arms around this, end quote. I understand that. I'm not knocking that at all. I would never, ever say that it's wrong to get a handle on the situation. But when you have 6 players, 6 coaches, that may be a little under. It's not half your coaching staff. It's a good portion of it. That's not half You probably have 92, 93, 94 players that are still available. Do you think that they canceled the game because you're playing your fourth-string quarterback? Or do you think they truly canceled the game because they wanted to get their arms around the situation? I don't know. I'm not them. I'm not jumping to conclusions. I'm not saying anything. But it makes one pause to think. Did you truly cancel the game because of COVID? Or did you cancel the game because of the quarterback situation? You would hope it's because of the quarterback situation. But remember, you cancel it for 7 days. That fourth-string quarterback, redshirt junior, whose name escapes me right now, what does this 7 days allow him to do? Get more preparation via Zoom, via play calls that he has never really dealt with in this capacity ever in his life, because he's never been at this level in his collegiate career. Not once, not at all. It hasn't happened. So I don't know. I'm not trying to go one way. I'm not trying to go to another. I just know some of you out there, you're conspiracy theorists, and you guys try to pull every which way, go every which way you can to simply get the final answer of what is going on. This came from Ross Dellinger. There was an article for SI.com. I am not reading the article. I am just reading the tweet that he put out. Exclusive. Cardiologists are finding so few heart issues in athletes, they are no longer recommending screenings for most COVID positives. How emerging data will impact protocols impact protocols like Big Ten's 21-day policy. Barry Alvarez, quote, "It's time to take a serious look," end quote. I'm not a doctor. I'm not at all. I know people that have had COVID-19. You know people that have had COVID-19. I don't like having these conversations here on the podcast. You know that. I know that. I say it all the time, but this is a situation that needs to be discussed right now. I don't know what's going on right now with COVID-19. I do know this very thing. In the winter, what happens? There are more activities that are inside. More restaurants are filled up. There's no outside seating. A lot of everything's inside. It's cold, especially when you're in the Midwest. So a lot of things are done inside. Restaurants are busy. Holidays. It still baffles me that on Thanksgiving and Christmas, people go out to eat instead of eating at home with their family. I know it's a weird tradition to eat around a table with people that you don't see all the time, and to not have the TV on and to talk to them. I understand all of that. I know the trends of the day, but it makes you think and wonder what it is. So COVID-19 is getting cold outside. Normally it's just cold and flu season. But what's happening right now? Positive case COVID-19 tests are picking up the cold and the flu. Not saying a lot of people don't have COVID-19, but the test is going to pick up the cold and the flu, which is down 90. The flu is down 98% right now. Is that ironic? I think it is. Am I a doctor? No. But do I think the flu has been out there all year? Yes. Do I think it's been out there more prominent than what the test will say? Absolutely. But here we are. Wintertime, COVID-19, more stuff inside. So, with COVID-19 being a virus and people are going to be going about doing things they have to do, yes, people are going to test positive. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. Do I think 7 or 6 positive or 12 positives total warrants canceling a game or shutting down the facility? I don't think so. Do I think it's a possibility that more people in college football will test positive? Absolutely. Do I think that Wisconsin should have canceled the game based off the Big Ten protocols if they followed it to a T? Absolutely not. But I am not calling the shots for the program. I am not. I am simply here saying, don't let COVID-19 stop you. If you can do it and you're comfortable doing it, go ahead. Make your own precautions. Do what you have to do. As far as it goes to the Wisconsin football team, the players, just because the player tests positive doesn't mean he's doing something he shouldn't do. Maybe he has to go somewhere around a group of people for 15, 20 minutes, not that very long, mask up. The masks that are out there, they don't really protect you like the media says they do. So what do you have? You have people wearing masks that aren't approved, that don't do what they're told to do from people that are on the television screen. So you're wearing something that's not protecting you, and then you get upset when you get something that when you get a virus that you're supposed to be protected from. It's COVID-19. Wisconsin, I don't like the situation. There's so many details to this. There's so many things going on with this situation that is very, very fluid, and it will be fluid. More people keep testing positive at Florida, at the University of Florida. It's going to happen. Keep going forward. I'll close with this. We just had a situation where the Illinois high school basketball was canceled due to the governor's recommendation, I believe. And of course, when you cancel basketball anywhere, any place, is going to be an uproar. So what happened the very next day? The Illinois High School Athletic Association, I believe that's what it's called, went against the governor's recommendation and went ahead and played. That's what I think more people right now in our country are moving towards, is not heeding the recommendation of the government officials or the people that are elected officials in their area. Because they're like, look, you don't control me. If I want to sit back, I'm going to sit back. If I want to go forward, I'm going to go forward. Don't let this thing slow you down. As far as Wisconsin goes, I don't know how I got on that rabbit trail. As far as Wisconsin goes, I hope they're only shut down for 7 days so they can come back and play next weekend. I know when you don't have your starter, your second string or third string, or your fourth string quarterback, that you're really kind of pushed against the wall, and you got to find a way to get things going. Trust me, they're put in a tough spot. But let play go on as soon as possible. Also, one quick thing before I go. This has been on my mind all day. As far as it goes for Nebraska, it would be nice if the Big Ten allowed them to play somebody outside of the conference to fill in the schedule this weekend. I know it's a short turnaround. You have to find an opponent quickly and then play. But there's a good chance you could find somebody in the Pac-12 to play this weekend. Oregon. I'm sure Oregon would want to, or USC would want to, two schools that'll try to win the Pac-12 conference. Hey, if they could go ahead and play and have one extra win under their belt than everybody else in their conference, it's not only more favorable for them in their record, it's more favorable to them when they're looked at in the eyes of the College Football Playoff Committee, who's voting to see who will play in the Final Four at the end of the season. Food for thought, just something for you to chew on. PlutusSportsAnalytics.com is a company based on minimizing the uncertainty in sports betting to help you maximize your profit. Newfoundland's first sports analytics team provides daily predictions for all Major League sports, so you can win big. Whether you want to hit MLB picks out of the park or get a slam dunk on your NBA betting tickets, Plutus is a company of choice. Head to PlutusSportsAnalytics.com. That is PLUTUS SportsAnalytics.com, and use code JSP10 for 10% off their deadly service. Speaking of picks, before we start talking about the ACL situation in the NFL, why so many of them have escalated, why we've seen so many more over the past few years, and what my thoughts are about them, I want to give you the games I'm going to pick for the weekend in college football and the NFL. Before I get into this third segment, come back at the end and give you my picks. Didn't do them in the beginning like we normally do when we have a guest on Thursday. So I'm a little thrown off, a little curveball for you and for myself. So we'll get through this together. 5 games for college football, and last week I did atrocious. It was bad, guys. Bad. I went 2-3 in college, and in the NFL, not good at all. Not good. Looks like I was 2-3 in the NFL as well. So the season rankings overall keep dipping just a tad. Got to do better this weekend. In college, I am picking on Thursday tonight. Colorado at Fresno State. On Saturday, these games: TCU at Baylor, Ohio State at Penn State, Kansas State at West Virginia, and then also Memphis at Cincinnati. Was going to pick the winner of Wisconsin and Nebraska, but that game got canceled. In the NFL, tonight's game: Falcons at Panthers. On Sunday, Chargers at Broncos, Steelers at Ravens, Cowboys at Eagles, and then on Monday Night Football to cap off the weekend, the Bucks at the Giants. The Browns, the Cleveland Browns. I talked to one of my friends about them, and I called them the Cleveland Boo Boo Browns. They're a Browns fan. I joke around with them all of the time. They are a supporter, almost always helping me to improve. So it's a fun back and forth. But when I say think of the Browns, there are a few players that may pop into your mind. Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Jarvis Landry. But normally before Jarvis Landry, you think about his current teammate and his former teammate at LSU, Odell Beckham Jr. No, this is not going to be a bash or slam Odell Beckham, period, right now. This is not what that is. But when I think of Odell Beckham Jr., what's the last thing I think about when I saw him on the field? Him on the ground, hurting, holding his knee because he just got hurt, injured. The test came back, the results came back, torn ACL, out for the season. There was at one point this year, I believe it was after week 2, there were 17 torn ACLs between the first 2 weeks of the season. This is a trend that it just keeps escalating and getting worse and worse and worse. Not just this season, might I add. But you can go back to last year, year before that, year before that, year before that. You're seeing a lot more lower body injuries, leg injuries, ankle injuries, torn Achilles, torn ACLs, MCLs, PCLs, all of those L's that you didn't even know were a part of your body. But you watch football, you learn more about yourself than you already know. Yes, that's what happens. ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus, all of these lower body injuries that you didn't really hear about that much from previous years, especially when the NFL was the jacked up era. Not like the NFL was bad or atrocious or horrible, but simply the NFL was the jacked up era where on NFL Live you would have the segment jacked up and you would love hearing it. Why? Because you would turn there. NFL Live, you wouldn't know when it would come on in the show, but you did know that at some point you would see those hits. Boom, boom, boom. You got jacked up. Hey, and I'm there. I used to, when I was in college down in Florida, Tampa, Florida, we had a youth conference. And during the youth conference, one of the skits was jacked up. And they guessed like who each person was. One person was Chris Berman. I was Tom Jackson. And one person was Michael Irvin. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. I get to narrate my own situation and make fun of somebody from a YouTube video that they did, almost ridiculousness style, where you did those videos that went on MTV on ridiculousness. Yes, same thing. We sit around, got the music in the background. We do our thing round and round and round. They say, hey, Tom, what do you think? Speaking of me. And I went around and I said what I had to say. And I said, he got jacked up. And it was fun, guys. It was a lot of fun. But there's been a trend, aside from the injuries that we have seen from the lower body of players lately. There's been a trend, and I don't know when this started. It's been about 5 to 8 years now, maybe 10, this first portion. One, the NFL has gone in the offseason. They have restricted what you can do as far as offseason training, hitting in the offseason, restricting how many padded practices you can have. And you know, if you are someone training for anything, training for a powerlifting competition, or training for a long distance race, or training for a football game, or training for a test, you know that if somebody restricts you and restricts what you're normally doing in preparation, it's going to hinder you when it's go time, when it's show time. You know that the NFL said, oh, we're going to err on the side of safety. Less hitting in the offseason is better for the longevity of the player, better for life after football. Okay, sounds good on paper, but I have seen a lot of injuries, and before recently, I believe that was the cause of it. This one recently came up. Eugene Parker, a former big-time agent in the NFL, Ray Lewis, Deion Sanders. My dad played basketball with Eugene Parker in high school. Eugene Parker played college ball at Purdue University, Purdue Williamackers here in Indiana, where I am from, where I currently live. So Eugene Parker, who is since no longer here, he has passed away. Eugene Parker, his son, Brandon Parker, is now working in the NFL as an agent. And Brandon Parker put a tweet out there that said, stop with the turf fields. No more turf fields. And I believe this came out Sunday after Odell Beckham Jr.'s injury. And you would think, Jay, playing on turf is better. What do you mean? It's better. It's better for the team, for the organization, less maintenance. It's better for the players because it's a unified surface. No, it's not. There are still teams out there that play on grass, and honestly, playing on grass is better for the eye. A person like myself, because I still like seeing stains on jerseys when playing football. I don't mind seeing clumps of grass out in certain places. Now, you don't want to see the whole field torn up, but I still like seeing clumps of grass all over the field. I like seeing that. Maybe it's old school, maybe I'm an old soul, but I still like seeing those things. What do we have going on now? More and more turf fields. What do we have? Less and less hitting and tackling in the offseason. What do we have? More and more ACL injuries. Is it direct science? Is it a direct connection? I don't know, but I do know when there was more hitting in the offseason, when everybody played on grass, or more people played on grass, there wasn't this issue at all. They went away from the artificial turf, that carpet-like texture or field that he used to play on, where basically my cousin used to play high school football, and one thing he used to do every year when his team went to state, because he was at a powerhouse, when his team went to state, his dad was like, "Hey, RJ, you make it to state, you get some more J's." RJ's like, "What? Hold on. I'm the starting running back, and I can help my team get to state. We get to state, I get some new J's. I get to wear them on the field where RCA Dome, where Peyton Manning and them play. Hey, I'm all for that." So I believe he got the state back-to-back years. I think he won one. I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe they won after he graduated. I think that's probably correct. But I believe he went to state twice, back-to-back years. You went away from the bad stuff. You bring in something, a better alternative. But maybe that alternative is not best for the player. Maybe that's what's causing more injuries. This is not a direct science. I don't know. But it just makes people think less. I am an advocate of more hitting in the offseason. I'm not an advocate of these targeting rules in college, or these don't hit them or don't hit him, he's a defenseless player. I'm not for those. I like hitting. I do. I like hitting. It was fine when I was a kid. I think it's fine now. I think you had to clean up some stuff, but for the most part, it was a fun game, enjoyable game to watch. ACL injuries, why all these injuries? Is it the turf? Is it the field? I don't know. Is it the hitting? I don't know. But two of those seem like they're big components in so many injuries, ACL injuries in the NFL. Got to wrap this up. It's a Thursday. I don't normally go solo, but it's 2020, and we're doing things different from time to time. Also, real quickly, episode 150 will be here very, very soon. Have a big guest lined up for that day. You will want to be here for that. That is on a Monday. That will be on a Monday in about a couple weeks from now. Be here on a Monday. You will thoroughly enjoy the guest for that day. 5 picks for college, 5 picks for the NFL before we wrap up this show. Tonight in college football, I am taking Colorado State over Fresno State. On Saturday, Ohio State over Penn State, West Virginia over Kansas State, Cincinnati over Memphis, and TCU, Texas Christian University, over Baylor. In the NFL, tonight, the Panthers over the Falcons. On Sunday, the Chargers over the Broncos, Steelers over Ravens, Eagles over Cowboys. They just can't get right. And then on Monday night, the nightcap, the Bucks over the Giants. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Jay Stevens Podcast. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at JStevens07. If you have something you would like to say, you're not on Twitter, but you want to talk back to me, send the emails to jstevenspod@gmail.com. Remember to always subscribe, rate, and review. It's a great way for people that are searching for a new podcast to listen to come across this one. Then remember to always get the word out about the podcast via word of mouth. The things that we enjoy in life, we are more willing and somewhat wired to tell other people about. So no matter if this was your first episode or if you have been listening since episode number 1, be sure to let people know about the podcast. This has been episode 147 of the Jay Stevens Podcast. I'll see you next time.